Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast, where we give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. I'm your host, Chris Borda, best-selling author and owner of Y.E.S Fitness. And let me first thank you for taking time from your busy day to listen to what I have to say. And before I go any further, let me also thank our sponsor, Y.E.S Fitness. Most people lose the ability to enjoy life as they age. At Y.E.S Fitness, we help people age 40 plus get fit so they can live longer and enjoy those extra years doing the things they love to do. So real quick housekeeping here. If you want to get a timestamp or a transcript of today's broadcast, head on over to yesfitnessct.com. Across the top, you will see a button for podcasts. Click on that drop down. It'll give you access to any one of our now 409 episodes. You can also get this broadcast wherever podcasts can be found. Does losing sleep mean losing a lifespan? Today, I want to talk about sleep. We talk all the time about how important sleep is. We know we need it. We know we usually feel better when we get enough of it. But how does sleep really affect how long and how well we live? Does losing sleep actually mean losing lifespan? I recently came across some research looking at the connection between sleep and longevity, and I thought it was worth talking about because I think there's a really practical message here for all of us, especially as we get older. Now, you've probably heard that you should get between 7 to 8 hours of sleep or 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And that's a good goal for a lot of us. A lot of people that would say that's a good goal. But then you see headlines saying that people who don't get enough sleep have a greater risk of dying earlier. And that's when people start worrying. I only got 5 hours of sleep last night. I haven't been sleeping well lately. Am I hurting my health? Well, here's what I want you to know. It's not quite that simple. And really, it never is that simple. So what does the research really tell us? One recent analysis found that people who slept fewer than 7 hours a night had a higher rate of all-cause mortality. Sounds pretty scary, right? But here's the problem. We don't always know if poor sleep is causing poor health or if poor health is causing poor sleep. So think about it. If you're dealing with chronic pain, you probably don't sleep well at all. If you're under a lot of stress, you probably don't sleep well as well. If you're dealing with certain health conditions, you may sleep more or you may sleep less. So when researchers look at thousands of people and find a connection between sleep and lifespan, it's really difficult to know exactly what's causing what. And that's why I don't want you to get caught up in a statistic or worrying that every bad night's sleep is somehow taking time off your life. That's not what the research tells us. But here's what I do think is important. We have some pretty good evidence showing that what happens to our bodies when we don't get enough sleep. And that's where this gets really interesting. Because sleep is when your body does the work. If you've been around Y.E.S Fitness for any length of time, you've probably heard me say this before. Exercise is the stimulus. Recovery is where the adaptation happens. Recovery is when you get in shape. You come in and strength train. You challenge the muscles. You challenge your body. But you don't actually get stronger during the workout. Your body needs an opportunity to recover and adapt to that workout. And sleep is a big part of that process. Research has shown that significant sleep deprivation can increase cortisol, decrease testosterone, and reduce muscle protein synthesis. Now, you don't need to remember all those terms. Here's what you need to remember. When you're consistently not getting enough sleep, your body may not be as good at recovering, repairing, and rebuilding muscle. And for those of us over 40, that's a big deal. Because one of the biggest priorities as we get older should be maintaining muscle and strength. You don't want to be able to get up. You want to be able to get up and down off the floor, carry your groceries, pick up your grandkids, travel, play golf, work in the yard, go hiking, whatever it is that you love to do. Whatever it is you want to keep doing, strength gives you options. And if you're putting in the work and build and maintain that strength, you also need to give your body a chance to recover from that work. So you may hear sometimes you can't out exercise a poor diet, or you can't out train poor recovery. This is something I think a lot of people miss. They think more is always better, more workouts, more cardio, more intensity. But sometimes the answer isn't doing more. Sometimes it's recovering better. If you're training hard, but you only sleep 5 hours a night, you're probably not getting enough you could get out of your workouts. You're not getting everything you could. You need to get to recovery. And this is what's interesting, because some research around weight loss here as well. In one study, people were eating the same number of calories, but when their sleep was restricted, more of the weight they lost came from lean tissue rather than body fat. Think about that. You're trying to lose weight. The goal shouldn't be to make the number on the scale go down. You want to lose body fat while maintaining as much muscle as possible, especially after we're 40. And that's why, yes, Fitness, we talk so much about strength training, protein, and recovery. They're all connected. And sleep affects you more ways than just your energy. Most of us think we know when we haven't slept enough. We're tired. We need an extra cup of coffee. Maybe we're a little cranky. But what's happening inside your body goes beyond just feeling tired. When you consistently don't get enough sleep, it can affect how your body handles blood sugar. It can affect insulin sensitivity. It can affect blood pressure. It can increase stress on the body. And those are all things that matter when you're talking about long-term health. So, does that mean getting exactly 8 hours of sleep every night guarantees you'll live longer? No. And does one bad night's sleep mean you're damaging your health? Absolutely not. So don't lose sleep over losing sleep. This might be the most important part of today's broadcast. Don't lose sleep worrying about your sleep. We've all had bad nights. Maybe you stayed up too late. Maybe the dog woke you up. Maybe you were traveling. Maybe you had something on your mind and you just couldn't shut off your mind. Your brain just kept going. It happens. One bad night isn't the problem. What we want to look at is the pattern. If you're consistently not getting enough sleep, that's something worth paying attention to. Just like exercise, just like nutrition. One missed workout isn't going to ruin your health. One unhealthy meal isn't going to ruin your health. One bad night's sleep isn't going to ruin your health. It's what we do consistently that matters. So what should you do? Here's my challenge for you this week. Pay attention to your sleep. Not obsessively, just pay attention. Ask yourself, am I giving myself enough opportunity to sleep? Am I staying up late watching TV or scrolling on my phone when I could be sleeping? And when I'm going to bed and waking up at reasonable, consistent times? And most importantly, how do I feel? Do I have energy? Am I recovering from my workouts? Do I feel ready to train? Because sleep is another piece of this whole puzzle. We strength train because we want to stay strong. We work on mobility because we want to keep moving well. We pay attention to nutrition because we want to fuel our bodies. And we've prioritized recovery, including sleep, because that's when our bodies have the opportunity to adapt to everything we're asking them to do. So, does losing sleep mean losing lifespan? We can't put an exact number on it. But we do know that consistently getting enough quality sleep supports many of the things that help us stay strong, healthy, and active as we get older. And that's really the goal. We're not just trying to live longer. We're trying to live better. We want more energy, more strength, more confidence, and the ability to keep doing the things we love to do as long as possible. So get your workouts in, eat well, get some sleep, and don't stress about being perfect. Focus on being consistent. That's how we get fit, feel younger, and live better. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast. If today's episode gave you hope or changed the way you think about aging, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and leave a review and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, getting older is inevitable. Getting weaker is not. With the right training, the right guidance, and the right mindset, you can continue getting stronger, moving better, and living the life you want for decades to come. Until next time, keep moving, keep challenging yourself, keep investing in your future because the best version of you may still be ahead. And I'll be back next week with more on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. Thanks for watching.